Okay.
Good morning. This is Gabriel Raam. I'm a philosopher, thinker, essay writer, expert of body language, and in the process of opening an esoteric school, the footsteps of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky, where I'm training people to go through a process of consciousness transformation, which means they will transform, say, psychological, social systems into conscious systems. People will start to live in their consciousness and no longer in the socio-psychological level of themselves. It's not an easy training, of course, but it is a training that when a person gets into it, there are immediate changes towards transformation of higher state of consciousness, like greater inner peace and being able to be on fire consciously, and to see and understand things which are happening from a completely different standpoint. And this is why I have this series of interviews where my trainees, my students, the people who are aspiring to go through a transformation, consciousness transformation, are asking me all kind of questions, so that people that want to be impressed by what is the fifth way will have a chance to hear what are the views of the fifth way from a consciousness standpoint about normal issues. Because people who go through this training will see the world differently.
Okay. Good morning, Gabriel.
Good morning.
I want to ask you about actress.
Actress?
About the profession of
actors.
Actors.
Actress is a female actor.
Okay.
Actors.
Okay. Yes. Yes. You are.
It's the Israeli accent.
Yeah. Yes.
About actors. Yes. Any specific reason why you're asking this question?
Yes. I was dating an actor.
Actress.
Actress.
If you're dating an actor, it's okay as well. But
yes.
As far as I know, you're heterosexual.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was introduced to the world of actors and of theater, and I saw it's opened me a new wide experience.
Okay, usher me into the realm of the question.
What?
Usher me, lead me into the realm of the question.
What I saw is a very specific profession that people going to learn it, although they know the life will be very, very hard. They can't do anything else, and I don't really know why.
Why they can't do anything else?
Yes, why actor is something...
What is your question?
What is my question?
Why do you think people want to become actors, although...
Is that what you want to know?
Yes.
Why do people want to be actors? Well, I see that the difficulty is trying to connect to what in you wants to ask the question. Because usually when we are not connected to ourselves, we want to know something, but we're not connected to what we want to know. So when it comes to our mind, usually what we really want stays behind. And what we get is not what we really want to know. It's very interesting.
Yes.
Because, see, some people talk and say, oh, you've got good words for everything. No, he's connected to what is alive in him. Because the ability to express something is directly connected to being connected to what it is that you want to express. And there is a buffer between you and what you want to ask. Now usually the buffer happens because if you will be connected to what you really want to know, you will experience an emotional dissonance. And emotional dissonance separates the dressing of the question from the question itself. So it's like, I said to you, you want to bring someone? You say, yes. Here is this and this is person. And I look and say, this is the clothes of this person. Where is the person?
Okay.
And the thing is that most questions are like this, but people mistake the dress for the person, and they answer the dress. And when they answer the dress, they are totally intellectual, because there isn't real being that wants to know, there isn't a real being that answers. So it's empty concepts to empty dressings. And I think what happens to you, that as you ask the question, by my response and the training you had, you realized that and that's why I said to you, usher me into the realm of the question.
Okay.
So you had enough time. What it is that you want to know, what is it in you that wants to know about the world of actors? Formulate the question.
I want to know why to be an actor. No.
All right, why not?
Okay. Why is it good?
It's not.
So why is it's so important to people that know that all their life going to be miserable to be an
but
actor?
you're not asking the
Okay.
question. Should be. I mean, I can try to answer it instead of you, but
No, I don't want you to answer me intellectually.
yeah, but you know, we can waste all the time of these poor people sitting watching this video on the issue of are you asking the right question, are you not asking the right question?
Okay, I'm very frustrated because I'm
Good.
I'm
If
getting-
you are frustrated and this frustration will bring you to the body of the question, that's excellent. There are two kinds of frustration. A consciousness frustration and an emotional one. The emotional one will take you away from the body of the question. The conscious frustration will connect you to it.
Okay.
It's like pessimism. Emotional pessimism is bad. Conscious pessimism is excellent. But that means that while you are pessimist consciously, emotionally you're totally neutral and cold about that which you are pessimistic about.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the art of being conscious. The emotions shouldn't take part in the game. Go.
Okay, I want to believe that I'm consciously frustrated. The question starts from frustrated to see people that don't know why, to see things that don't know why they are doing it.
No one knows why they're doing it. In that actors are not different than anyone else.
Yes, I think it comes from there. Something is very...
All right, I have a suggestion.
Okay,
Let's pass the question to someone else.
okay.
Okay, I have a question which I already did some work by myself.
See, the thing is that most people think in the art of asking questions and giving answers, asking question is easy. All you need to do is say something that you don't know. And then the major weight is the answer. Is it the right answer? Is it the right level? And I'm putting the emphasis on the question. If the question is coming from the right place, formulated rightly, you already design the area in which the answer would land. But if the question has got no body, what chance does the answer have? It doesn't. So it becomes intellectual. Yes?
My question is, I've had a lot of frustrations over reading a lot of things that are related to it. It's about nothing.
I thought you want to ask about time.
I still didn't find the right gap to go to the
Right,
issue
so
of time. I want to ask about
Nothingness.
nothingness. And I want to ask, what do you think? How is this great paradox of things coming out of nothingness and then going back to nothingness, and in between something is there, but if in the overall view it's nothing.
Right, okay, very good, very true.
So this like puts things worthless. Everything is worthless.
Yeah, well, Kohelet said that. Yes, it's true, everything is worthless. Yes.
So is
So
there really?
if everything is worthless, go on.
So if everything is worthless,
What's
what's the point to do anything?
What's the point to do anything? What's the point to do consciousness?
Or consciousness or
Or anything else.
Yes.
If in the end there is no point,
Yes.
what do you think will be my answer?
I have no idea.
Well, the answer is that there really is no point to do anything. Anything in the end is pointless, first of all. And this is unchangeable statement.
Okay.
In the end, nothing has got meaning. Because we come from nothing, we go back to nothing, and that's it. Now, so the question is, if there is no point to anything, so why not commit suicide, shoot drugs, or whatever? Yes, something like that. Well, I would come from the angle. Actually, it's a good question. I come from the angle that. I'll start with a question. Well, not with a question. I'm confused. Well, there is this story that when I was a very young person, I think younger than both of you, I met someone in New York, a Jew called Barney Epstein. And he was the owner of a zipper factory.
Okay.
You know what a zipper is?
Yes.
Recharge.
Yes.
This thing.
Yes.
And I was in his factory. It's really fascinating. They do zippers, all kind of zippers. He actually was offering to train me in the job because I was dating his daughter.
Okay.
And I remember one evening we was sitting. He said, "Do you know what I'm doing?" I said, "What?" He says, "Money. I do money. And I'm a very rich man. And you can ask me, if you've got so much money, why do you make more money?" He says, "That's the only thing I can do." He says, "I'm like this footballer that all he can do is score goals. And I just continue to score goals because I can't do anything else." Now, I'm saying this because we human beings are in state of no option. We are born with a certain drive. Something is driving us. Now you can have a lower drive, like the Maslow pyramid, to satisfy your needs, to be successful, and things which are to do with ego. Or you can have higher drive. But we are born with drives, and we are to-do machines. We are a machine designed to do, and there are things which are moving us. Now, I think the mistake that most people do with why you do what you do and what's moving you, to do with your question as well about actors, to do what you do, people would say, well, I'm doing it because. Now, I don't think that's true. I think we're doing it despite. And I think that human beings are basically in a tragic situation. It's tragic because our life on the whole is meaningless, because we come from nothing and we go to nothing. And doesn't matter what is the meaning of our life, even if the meaning is that you will be the richest person in the world, the most religious person in the world, the most sexy person in the world, if you get anything you want, in the end it's meaningless, because you will be wiped out. Of course, if people believe in reincarnation, then it's different. But let's say there isn't. And what I want to say is that we are tragic figures. And even if you get anything in the end, it doesn't mean anything, because you will be dust. And what you get may be passed to your children. So why are we doing it? We have no options. We are tragic figures. The greatness of a human being is not if he does something because, is that he is doing something despite. And people do things because of egocentric reasons. A lot of people, religious people, do their religion because this will get them reincarnation. I don't respect these people. I respect the person which is totally non-egocentric. He's doing it because he's got no option. He has got to do it. If you see movies which are great tragedies, great figures, I mean, the best example I can give is The Old Man and the Sea of Ernest Hemingway, which, you know, I quote because it's senseless. He's old, the fisherman, and but he got to bring the big fish. It's greater than him. And in the end he brings the big fish, but the small fishes eat the meat, and he brings only the skeleton, but he brings it because he's got to do it. It's greater than you. And greatness is measured by doing it against all odds, despite the fact that in the end it's worth nothing, but you've got to do it because it's greater than you. What do you think about my answer?
Well, I was hoping that you would say that there is something permanent.
That's where your question came from.
I think so. I think that I was looking for hope.
Or that if I would live meaningful life, mission life, it can actually change the situation of going back to nothing.
Yes. Yes, and
so it's quite a depressing answer.
Yeah, it's a depressing answer, but also I think something inside me already knew the answer.
I want to say something else about tragedy. There is a term, tragic figure. I mean, tragic figure is a person that from the beginning of the tragedy, he's doomed. There is no chance. There is a curse upon him. And he's working all his life despite the curse, and the curse gets him in the end.
Yes.
That's greatness. You see, I think that we could be great or not great, with honor or without honor. It doesn't matter if we have honor or no honor anyway.
Mm.
But there is one thing in life which is important, that you would live honorable life, great life, life of power, life of meaning. It doesn't matter anyway if you do and you don't. It matters to you.
Mm.
And the less there is the chance that it will matter, the greater you are if you do it. And there is no one to give you marks,
Yes.
and no one to shake your hand.
You
It's
don't-
between you and you. Totally. This is the complete and total lack of selfishness.
So this is kind of a paradox.
It is a paradox. Life is a paradox. People make a lot of effort trying to get paradox out of life. And if they succeed, they have life without power, without meaning, empty, mediocre, flat life. Paradox gives it power, meaning, direction, and aspiration towards higher level.
Yes. There is some.
And,
Oh, sorry.
In
I want to-
fiction, in fiction, paradox to get warned by the friction, by the unknowing, I think.
Okay. What did you want to say? Do you have anything to say about
What the
what's
first
rising in you?
Yeah, the first thing you say that end with paradox, and now what you said only strengthens the paradox. You said nothing is important, but if you, I think all you're talking is strengthening the paradox. I have a sense, very powerful sense of paradox.
Yeah, but what do you think about what I said in relation to your life? I mean, how do you accept what I'm saying? What is it causing you to feel?
It was very hard to
It
know
was
that
difficult.
difficult that nothing is have meaning. On the other hand, it was משחרר,
Relieving.
Relieving.
relieving. It's no matter.
So, yeah, there is this saying that I told Sarah, which I heard when I was in the army in the beginning, that stuck with me. Don't take life seriously. In the end, you wouldn't get alive anyway.
Yes.
So there's something relieving in all this.
Yes.
And if you put everything you have to transform your level of consciousness, you do it lightly. Because in the end, nothing matters. I think this is what allows a person to be neutral about his life,
Yes.
to be light.
Yes.
Because everyone says, well, maybe I wouldn't get reincarnation, maybe God wouldn't love you. You know, I mean, if you succeed and not succeed, it's the same thing anyway.
Yes. Yes.
But this way I will be more honorable and wholesome with myself. The way I live with me, I will have self-respect. I will know I'm doing everything I can for something I'm complete with. It's not important for anyone else. In the end, even this completeness will be washed away.
But it's something.
No, it's nothing. But it's between me and me. I mean, people don't do anything for them. They do things for interest. I do it because that's the way I want to live with me. It's got no meaning, no value beyond that. But it's me.
Okay.
This is amazing. I think you.
I think you didn't hear it anywhere. This kind of.
No.
I love tragedies. I think human life is tragic. I think there is greatness in tragedy.
Why tragedy is greatness?
Because it ends in a bad way, and the people couldn't help but doing the best way to get out of it, and they are locked into it, and they wouldn't get out of it. This is our life, you know? I mean, I talk about it with a smile. I think people who see this want to shoot the it's terrible. But I think our life is full of illusions, you know? Everyone sells us dreams.
Yes. That's another thing that is interesting, that everybody who has even a small tragedy or something is becoming something very big. Well, you say that everything is doomed in the end, so what can be worse than that? So suppose something bad happens to you that actually doesn't count for anything, because in the end
nothing is important. But I agree with Nia. It's very relieving to know the end. I mean, you know, that's one way to look at it. That you come from nothing, you go to nothing. But you know, even if you think about the time that human beings have been on the planet, I mean, who remembers people who lived here 50,000 years ago, who had the same sorrows, and everything is washed away. And if you think about the cosmos, what is this planet in relation to, you know, it's totally unimportant.
Yeah, I feel from what you're saying that there is acceptance of death. You accept that you will die, and you have no.
That's a big mistake. I don't accept. You can't accept. You see, it would be too easy and too nice to say that. I didn't say anything about accepting. That's the great tragedy. It's terrible. No one can accept it.
Okay.
See, life is not a fairy tale for children. I mean, life is a terrible tragedy. I want to be worthy of my life. I mean, I want to see the truth and to rise up to it and to live great life, powerful life, deep life, honest life, authentic life.
I think what else I get now from what you are saying is
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Another thing that I'm getting from hearing now what you said is to be connected to the reality, to what's going now. This is the only way to live properly. Although it's meaningful, but it's the...
See, the one thing I could say that when you're connected to reality, to what's going on, one, you are light, because you've got nothing to lose. You lost everywhere anyway. And second thing, there's great power in connecting to what is. And you are there to what is real, and you're full of power. Now you pay a great price for that power. The price is your illusions, which makes you feel very, very bad, because without illusions, you feel terrible. Without fantasies. But the one thing, I would say the two things that my way of looking at things give you: you are light and you are powerful.
I can't think about my daughter, and she's 3.5 years old, and she's totally alive, and she's there, and she's what went wrong? I presume.
What went wrong? What do you mean?
What will go wrong? Why will she stop being so? Maybe she wouldn't, but most people stick with the illusion or the
Life is too difficult to live it without illusions. People will break. Now, this is because the main being is emotional, and what rules them is the ego. Now, if you come from the emotions, I feel bad, I feel good, and the ego, me, is the center, and you see reality, you will break. The only way to see what I'm talking about and not to break is not to come to it from a personalized viewpoint, not from the ego, not from emotion, but from the consciousness. This is what I said before about pessimism. If you're pessimistic emotionally, you sink to depression. If you're pessimistic consciously, you live great life. Because you see what is coming and you're prepared. You don't care. We should live this life not caring. Because if you care, you will be broken. So people live this life with illusions. So they don't care. But there's no big point not to care because you've got illusions. The big point is not to care without illusions. But to do that, you need to step up a level and to see it from the neutral vector of your consciousness. See, that's one thing. To be neutral and to be above the level of the emotions. The other thing is that you should be stoned.
okay.
Because I'm talking about it, and you know, people look at me and say, he's stoned. I mean, he's talking about these things with a big smile. He's either drunk or stoned. How can you talk about it? Yes, I'm stoned. And I wish to continue to be stoned. Because knowing what I know without being stoned, I will be crushed.
Stoned, Kuba.
No! Pastul.
So what you're stoned from?
That's a good question.
You're not, I don't see you that you take drugs or alcohol.
But I'm stoned. Definitely I'm stoned. But it's not a kind of being stoned, seeing illusions like an LSD trip. Or becoming, you know, with marijuana, sort of dim with alcohol. The kind of stoned I'm talking about. That I'm stoned, but very, very clear. No illusions.
It's like
no dimness.
heroin.
Heroin is like this?
Yes.
I wouldn't know. But you see, by the way, I should say to the camera that I don't take drugs.
Yes.
Many, many years ago, I used to take marijuana and hashish, but I think for 30 years, I'm not touching anything artificial. What I mean when I say stone is that when you operate from your consciousness and you've got no emotional blockages, you can connect to very powerful energies that come to this place. And if you release your soul from its captivity at the bottom of the spine, and your soul meet these powerful energies, oh, you are in great celebration. And then you can withstand the truth. So you're stoned. Everybody must get stoned. It's the sound of Bob Dylan.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if this is what I meant that people would hear, because, you know, it's totally crazy what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
Kill.
What do you think of what I'm talking about? How surprised are you? How new is it, Neil? How
You don't leave choice. You're staying.
how do you get what I'm saying? How does it hit you? How do you?
In
Are
our
you
first
surprised?
meeting, yes and no. In our first meeting, you said to me, the only way I think is to live is to be stoned. And now I'm saying, I know why, but you don't leave option. You say all to be stoned from drug or to be stoned from consciousness.
I didn't say to be stoned from drunk.
No. But the only way to be stoned, if less, your life will always be miserable because you are.
Either you live by illusions,
Yes.
And then you're not miserable, you're happy.
Mm.
You live by illusions. Or you don't live by illusions, and then you're miserable because you see the tragic aspect of being a human being.
But you don't miserable.
Because I'm stoned.
Okay.
But what are you saying? How do you receive what I'm saying? How does it hit you?
I think I'm happy to hear it. There is a third option that I want.
You're happy that you will see reality, that life is meaningless, but you will be stoned.
No, I'm not stoned like you.
That you will be stoned, I said.
That I will be stoned. I think I don't have an option.
You don't have an option? Alright.
I'm between.
You're between, that sounds better.
Yes.
I don't have an option. But you? Maybe you do. Yes.
Well, I find it comforting.
Comforting.
Comforting. So you said a lot of pessimistic things about things being worthless and going back to nothing. Well, at least might as well be stoned. Since,
It reminds me of the people who are dying from cancer. Usually they give them big amounts of morphine. I don't know. I think what I'm saying here is totally terrible. And I think that this thing should be abolished, burned, and I don't know. I think that the fifth way is strange, you know?
yes. It's weird.
Very weird.
Yes, very, very weird and strange and
Very strange.
built inherently cool. Uneatable.
But what is weird?
Each time you ask me this question, it's like you're getting into a spaceship and you find yourself in this
Yes.
weird place. You can never forecast what I'm going to say, could you?
No. Always surprising.
Although some of these things I spoke about before, no? No?
Not in this context.
Yes.
What did you want to say?
I wanted to say is that well, this is what I wanted to say, that you gave me hope for something. You gave me, so if the transformation works and the soul meets the consciousness and I will be stoned and I will fulfill my life, that's great.
But it's tragic nevertheless.
Yes.
I think one thing more, I think if people will grasp the tragedy of everyone who is alive, they will be much more compassionate and human and warm to each other, and not having this fierce competition, trying to get to something which in the end is worthless anyway. Because all of us have got terrible destiny. And the only comfort, except being stoned of course, is giving each other warmth. I mean, that's one thing that makes life bearable. To have another human being that accepts you, that supports you, that treats you sometimes more important than himself, give you a space in which you could be. Real empathy. That's things which makes life bearable, definitely. To have real care from another human beings towards you. That's why I hate hospital stuff. Because hospitals are tragedies within tragedies. And you need to meet the warmth, and you don't.
Some people, I was thinking that some people might ask, well, what about children? Children is something to live for.
Children is something to live for?
Yes, many people say that family is what counts and children is what's to live for.
I don't think so. I think the thing to say children is something to live for is terrible for the children. Because the children needs to carry the meaning of their parents on their shoulder. I mean, they look at this big person. Wow, he's got a life. And then they get subconsciously that I live this little thing, I'm totally lost, don't know what the hell I'm doing, and this person is depending upon me. That's terrible.
Yes, wow, laughing is terrible.
Yeah, that's never thought about it this way, but
I hate people that say I live for my children. I think it's terrible.
live for yourself, live for your soul. That's what's coming out of this conversation.
Right. I think basically this is. I don't know if it should be in the air. Because it's very difficult stuff. But when I said that talking about things will give the view of the fifth way of consciousness about things, but I didn't know that you will give me this mine of life nothingness. Then you'll ask me simple questions like why women like to buy clothes and shoes. I mean, that's the kind of questions that I like. This is 100,000 megaton, this question about nothingness of life.
And yet, this is, from all the interviews, the atmosphere is the lightest of all atmospheres that were.
Do you agree? Yeah.
Not necessarily.
No?
I think it is light.
Yes, light, but not the greater light.
It's not heavy.
Yes.
What Danny is right about, it's not heavy as you would expect, considering what we talk about.
Yes. It's always happening, and why it's happening? You are talking about so much.
I think because in a way you are not based in yourself. Somehow this conversation managed to get you out of you. What makes a person heavy is their anchor in themselves. When you identify with you, and with your happiness and goodness, then you become heavy. When you are alive with life and not with your ego, you're light. You know, it's interesting, I don't know if you know that when a person is dead, he's heavier. Do you know that?
No.
If you weigh a live person and a dead person, there is a difference. I don't know of how much, but there's a considerable difference in the weight. Which means to be alive is to be light. And when you are heavy, you're dead.
So it's amazing.
I think life is very surprising. I think life, real life, is totally upside down to the way people think what life is. And I think to be conscious is to be upside down to be unconscious. It's like being asleep and being awake. When you're asleep, you're horizontal. When you're awake, you are... What's the opposite of horizontal?
Vertical?
Vertical. Which is not totally upside down.
I have some questions about, but I want to give feedback about.
All right, let's give feedbacks and close this issue. All right.
Okay. So I can't say that I'm depressed. That's amazing.
You're not depressed?
Not depressed
At all.
at all. And
By the way, the news is maybe the depression will come later. Nah, I'm joking. All right.
you said some. Well, I think the truth sets you free. I think this
Truth
is
set you free. Tell me, to what extent it's new from 100% what you heard here, really new?
actually it's all new because I didn't know.
Give me percentage, please.
100%.
Really.
I didn't know. I asked a question because I didn't know.
All right. What else do you want to say?
This is a totally amazing atmosphere here, and this really light in the room that I cannot explain it. There is something in the dynamics here which is totally amazing, and I don't know if people will see it in
Yes, this I thought about it as well, whether this lightness will actually pass there to people who watch it.
But it's like taking drugs, but in a different way.
It's strange, yeah.
It's like
atmosphere. Yeah. What is going really now in that, in the physical way, in this physical absent, in the atmosphere.
What?
The atmosphere is not such a מילה רוחנית.
Not spiritual.
Not spiritual. It's physical thing.
The atmosphere is physical?
Yes, we are getting it through our senses. Something that's physical in the space is
I think I follow what you're trying to say. It's not spiritual uplifting,
yes,
but it's got a sense of reality, the atmosphere.
yes,
You are here and you're feeling that things are things, and you are grounded. Yes?
yeah. No. I want to say that what is atmosphere? It's really atmosphere behind the spiritual meaning. לא משנה.
I got connected to what you say, that I'm really feeling connected to now and here. I'm here. In 100% I'm here. I know where I am, and
Alright, fine. So, as I used to say, this is the meeting which was. Wherever you are now, in the spaceship, you need to come back. In a while you're going to go out.
Yes.
See people. It's interesting that you can cause such states of mind just by words. It's connecting to what we spoke about the double nature, the dual nature of words,
yes.
of verbality. Right, so this was the meeting which was, and I hope it will do something to people.